7 types of toxic people who quietly destroy your future. There's a dangerous kind of destruction in life. Not the loud kind. Not the dramatic betrayal. Not the obvious enemy. But the slow erosion. The kind that happens quietly. Through conversations. Through repeated patterns. Through people you once trusted. You don't wake up one day completely broken. You wake up slightly more doubtful. Slightly more tired. Slightly less confident. Until one day, you don't recognize yourself anymore. Your future is not only shaped by your decisions. It is shaped by the people you allow to stay close to you. Here are 7 types of toxic people who can quietly reshape your destiny. If you let them. 1. The reality twister. This is the person who makes you question your own mind. You feel it. They say you're too sensitive. You notice inconsistency. They say you're overthinking. You confront them calmly. They turn it around and suddenly you're the problem. Over time, something shifts. You stop trusting your instincts. You start apologizing for your emotions. You begin shrinking your reactions to avoid conflict. And when a person loses trust in their own perception, they become easy to control. The real danger isn't the argument. It's the self-doubt that stays long after the conversation ends. 2. The chaos creator. Some people are uncomfortable with peace. Silence feels empty to them. Stability feels boring. So they manufacture intensity. Small misunderstandings become dramatic conflicts. Minor issues become emotional storms. At first, you try to help. You try to calm things down. But eventually you realize every interaction leaves you exhausted. You weren't solving problems. You were being pulled into a cycle. And chaos is contagious. Stay in it long enough, and you'll forget what calm even feels like. 3. The dream diminisher. They call themselves realistic. They say things like, "That's too ambitious. Be practical." People like us don't succeed like that. They don't yell. They don't insult. They simply plant doubt. And doubt, when repeated often enough, becomes limitation. Your future doesn't collapse because of one failure. It collapses when you stop trying. Be careful whose voice you let echo inside your head. Some people project their fears onto your potential. For the masked ally, in front of you, they smile. Behind you, they speak differently. They appear supportive. They listen carefully. They know your vulnerabilities. But somehow, your private struggles become public conversations. The deepest damage here is not betrayal. It's the distortion of trust. After one experience like this, you may build walls so high that even genuine people can't reach you. One fake connection can poison your ability to recognize real ones. 5. The energy drainer. You leave every interaction feeling heavier. They constantly complain, constantly blame, constantly feel wronged by life. At first, you empathize, but slowly, you become their emotional storage unit. You carry frustrations that aren't yours. You absorb negativity that doesn't belong to you. Empathy is noble, but empathy without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You are not responsible for healing everyone, especially if it costs you your own stability. 6. The self-centered orbit. In their world, everything revolves around them. Your stories get interrupted. Your struggles get minimized. Your needs get postponed. But when they need something, you're expected to show up immediately. Over time, you start adjusting. You talk less. You need less. You shrink to fit their comfort. And without realizing it, you become a background character in your own life. Healthy relationships are reciprocal. If it always feels one-sided. 80 probabilis. 7. The promise seller. They speak beautifully. They promise support. They promise commitment. They promise change. But when action is required, they disappear. You wait. You delay decisions. You depend on words that never become reality. False hope is more dangerous than rejection, because rejection frees you. False hope keeps you stuck. Your future should never depend on someone else's empty consistency. Now here's the harder reflection. By the way, fear of being alone, guilt, hope they'll change, or the belief that enduring pain is proof of loyalty. Sometimes we blame toxic people entirely, but we rarely question our tolerance. Growth begins the moment you admit, I allowed this, not because you're weak, but because you didn't know your worth yet. You cannot control who people are, but you can control proximity. You can choose distance. You can choose boundaries. You can choose peace. And sometimes, protecting your future means walking away quietly, without drama, without revenge, without explanation, just clarity, because your future self deserves an environment where you can grow, not one where you slowly disappear.